Record on this computer. Hi, today is a very interesting person that we see on Twitter. Someone very controversial to Americans, very controversial to his military people even, and his opinions are tough, are strong. There is no take it easy. He kind of like the kind of person. He would slap you on the face to wake you up. He wouldn't shake you or tap your chest to get up smoothly. I have here Lucas Gage with me. How you doing, Lucas?
Good eve. It's an honor to be here, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Uh, you've been having very strong opinions since COVID, which I
Yeah.
share with you. I refuse to buy the story. I refuse to get the vaccine. I refuse to follow the mainstream, and I was actually following Peter McCullough and the inventor of mRNA from the very beginning, since even before Joe Rogan brought him on their show and destroyed the whole narrative and took COVID to grave and got it to rest in peace. Because I believe he was the knockout, like that famous interview that he had on his very podcast killed all the story. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't remember watching it. I don't think I probably caught a little bit of it, but yeah, we had, a lot of people starting to question it because, it's very rare that the United States government, the media and big pharma all together are telling you something's good for you. It's probably bad for you. So that was the one time three people you don't trust all together saying, hey, take it. And if you don't take it, you might lose your job. And I'm like, okay, this is dangerous. Now, I didn't take it. I told everyone not to take it myself. I did get COVID twice. The first time was a backache for a month. So it's
Yeah.
real. I mean, people say there's nothing out there. Something's out
No,
there.
there
But
is something out
yeah,
there.
yeah. And then the
I got
second
it
time I got it was
twice.
like a fever. Yeah.
I got it twice.
But it wasn't worthy of destroying the world economy for it, and I think that's the trick there. But yeah, I don't trust the government and I don't trust the media and I don't trust big pharma. So when they got together and said, take this, I said, no way. And so, I was banned off YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook during the COVID epidemic because I had Dr. Shiva Araduri on. He was my last guest when I had him on. And we were talking about don't put people on ventilators. You're going to kill them, because they're basically drowning, right? The cytokine storm, the body's reacting, and you're putting the air in there and you're forcing and you're pretty much drowning them. And they banned us off everything. And then a week later, 2 weeks, the New York Times, maybe we shouldn't put people on ventilators. It's funny, Sharif, they say the science was settled. Of course, when you get rid of all the scientists against you, of course it's settled. You ban and censor everyone. So thank God, Joe Rogan and other people had, they had the integrity to at least interview those doctors who were like, look, even Dr. Malone, I think he's one of the, not the co, he's
Yeah,
not the
the
inventor,
mRNA. That's the inventor of the mRNA.
yeah, one of the people
Dr.
who
Malone.
helped invent it. Yeah. And they try to discredit him. Oh, no, he's not. He's this and that. But the point is, a lot of these people are saying, look, this is something we got to look into. We don't have experiment. We were the experiments, right? The population was
exactly.
It's funny, Sharif, because we're going to talk about my service. Before I was deployed to Iraq, okay, they gave us anthrax and smallpox injections, right? So it's like I was injected with this stuff. I don't know. I don't think there's any. I hope there's no effects. I seem to be okay, but they just pump you up and stuff, and that you're the experiment. So same thing happened with COVID. I mean, look what the Israelis did to themselves, right? I mean, Bibi was like, "Oh, we're going to make this a lab. We're going to use our own." They had the social, the card or whatever. The Israelis were jabbed several times. So no one was safe from this thing. Everyone got in,
No.
even though Burlow is a Jewish guy, Pfizer, he doesn't care about anyone who's in Israel. Nobody cares about Bill Gates, a white guy. He doesn't care if everyone takes the injections. I mean, this is not a race-based religious thing. This was a bunch of, supremacists at the top who wanted money and control. And people think it's about the profits of Pfizer. It's more about the control, Sharif. People have to understand.
It's way beyond Pfizer. And it scares me when I see someone like Bill Gates is getting into the raising cows business
and mosquitoes and all this weird experiments.
Yeah.
And the Carl Schwabs of the world, and they want to have 15-minute cities. I mean, this COVID thing gave them a lot of things. First, they sell how we reacted as a population. Then they got away with censorship. So you know what they do? They take stuff away from us and they don't give it back. And we're okay with it now. I mean, 2015 on Facebook, Twitter, you could say whatever you want, literally anything but violent. Now it's like you're going to get canceled, bro. Like it's normal now to be canceled. Before it was unheard of. Now it's, so they take away things. They give you a little bit back. So you're okay with a little bit better world than you had before, you know? So it's dangerous, but this is what it's about. It's not about the money. These people run the banks. They have all the money in the world. It's about control. And with the COVID was just another step to pretty much condition us to more control. And that's why I resisted that. And, you know, thank God that we've passed through it, but we didn't get our rights back, really.
Nope.
we lost, just like, you know, when the airlines, now they tell you, take off your shoes, right? Because of the shoe guy. Well, you still take them. You still can't bring water on the plane. You don't get anything back. With the Patriot Act, you know, and the NDAA Act, all these acts against terrorism, none of us got our rights back. They didn't, okay, we're done with terror. Look, we won the global war on terrorism. Let's, you know, rewind everything. Nope. They keep it out there. And we just get used to
the global war terror. And then George Bush will get into USS, I think it was, I can't remember which one he was on. And then he was like, this is the end of terrorism. We beat terrorism.
Yeah, we are the terrorists. That's the thing.
Well, the reason why I'm starting from the COVID time, because it's like America is going in costumes and it's very systematic. So we took down the COVID and we put up Ukrainian flags. All of a sudden, like Dr. Anastasia said, that Danish Greek doctor who resides in Copenhagen, she once said, well, now Vladimir Putin was able to beat COVID by invading Ukraine. So we saw America, all the signs, all the big boards, all the billboards around the country is changing from the colors of COVID, and thanks to the doctors and all the white gloves and all the funny stuff that is related to connecting people to COVID, which is actually something that existed, but it didn't need that much hype. But now everything was Ukrainian war. What do you think about the Ukrainian war in your own beliefs or thoughts?
It's what we call it the current thing, right? Like you said, first it was COVID, and now everyone's profile get the
costume,
jab.
The new costume. Yeah, it's like a
now,
new
now
Halloween
it's
party.
The current thing is now Ukraine. Now Ukraine is pushed to the side because of Israel. Now it's Gaza, Israel. You see that? So, but yeah, the Ukrainian war. I mean, look, this thing was engineered, and just like this recent attack, right? They make it seem like Vladimir Putin one day woke up and invaded. So the media starts with everything was fine until Putin came in. But it wasn't fine. It was years. You got to go back to 2014. You got to go back to the late 90s even, with NATO doing what it's been doing to the Russians. Russia said, this is a red line. This is a red line. This is for decades. And now it's all of a sudden Putin invades for no reason, unprovoked. Same thing with this October 11th thing, okay? They say Hamas flew over, everything was fine until Hamas. No, it wasn't. There's been a genocide, ethnic cleansing for 75 years. You got to go back to the Nakba, which on one hand they deny. And now they're going, Nakba 2 is coming. You'll see. We're going to get you. We're going to finish what we started. But you said it never happened.
Well, that means there was a Nakba one.
The Ukraine war, now you're seeing they're winding it down. I saw someone say, posted an article, they're secretly doing peace talks. Now we knew, and I was on many shows saying about it. There's no way the Ukrainians could win this war. It's impossible. There's just no way.
I never bought it. I think it's our mistake. And I think it's alarming to our politicians and legislators to understand that there are so many Americans right now are siding with Putin, thinking that he's on the right side. That means we are so screwed up on the wrong side to the point that we have Americans fully born and raised Americans are saying, actually, Putin is right. He's the right guy. We're the assholes. Straight up, it's like, it's not a conspiracy anymore. The guy made it clear. In order for the East and the West to maintain the balance, I want a red line, a little cushion of no East, no West, and that would be Ukraine in the South, Finland and Sweden in the North, which my lady is actually Finnish American. So I have a lot to know about this, confrontations, World War, being Nazis back in the day and all that before they're coming the so cute Finnish people right now. They were the Nazis back then. But then all of a sudden, on October 7th, the new costume for America. They're taking down the Ukrainian flags everywhere and trying, and I'm saying trying, because they tried. They tried to color every spot in the hearts of America or in the visual effects that they shoot around the country. They tried to color that with Israeli flag, but I think it didn't last for more than 3 days. And both of us, we have a lot to say about that. First of all, people who don't are not familiar with Lucas. Lucas is an honored Marine Corps who September 11 happened when he was a senior high, means last year of high school. He finished high school and decided to jump into a Marine Corps because that's the image of how honored you can be to serve your country at one of the hardest times. Normally, people in America will have to, I lived in San Antonio for 16 years, so I'm very, very familiar with military families, everything that has to do with military. I was exposed to, including the stuff that I shouldn't know about. But being in the military, so many people join the military at a peacetime to get their GI Bill, to get their college paid for, to get the benefits, the medical benefits, hopefully a small PTSD that can rag their bank account for life so they don't have to worry about getting a house or paying bills, and any other job would be just a supplemental. But when you join the Marines during a conflict as big as September 11, you know what you're stepping into. How did you take that from the beginning, Lucas?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, 9/11 happened when I was 17 in high school. So I was a senior in high school. And at 17, you cannot join yet. But when I saw the Marine Corps, because you have, at the end of high school, you start getting these like career days where they come to the schools, different
ROTC,
careers, all that stuff. So I saw the Air Force, I saw the Army, but I like the Marine Corps uniform. I have it here. It's beautiful. Even though people are like, why don't you burn it? I'm like, well, it's part of my life, and it's just, it's history. But I love the colors. Now, my grandfather, Angelo, he passed away on my father's side. He was in the Air Force. His father was a Marine. So there's a lineage of warriors in my.
Usually, it's a military families. That's
My father,
I came
was
from
younger.
a military
He left
family
Italy,
as well.
So my father, he didn't go to the service. He came when he was 18 because Italy, I think it's mandatory, but he left before that. But anyway, so when 9/11 happened, my first thought was I have to do something about this. And so it happened when I was 17. I was at the dentist office. I heard the first tower was hit by a plane. I said, that's a very bad accident. I thought it was an accident. Then another one hit. I said, okay, that's not an accident. And so I was actually able to see the towers collapse as I came home from the dentist. I live in New Jersey to this day. The town I lived in was called Warren, New Jersey, and it's actually above sea level. So there's a town called Greenbrook below mine that as you go up the mountain, there's something called Washington Rock. This is where George Washington was looking over to see the British coming to the New York Harbor. So you could see them coming. So I saw the skyline of 9/11 all of New York, all the smoke, the towers were still up.
You actually eyewitnessed that.
So I see the smoke all over. Yeah. So when I got home, I went to go see my sister because I have two sisters. She was a freshman at the time. The other one's younger than her. Are you okay? She goes, yeah. I went home because I wasn't going to go to school that day. I just sat there. I was watching the news, glued on the TV, and I'm like, these towers are going to fall. I don't know why I thought that, but I just thought that. And unfortunately, they collapsed. And I go, oh my God, all those people in there. So I said, this is horrible. And then, of course, the next day we knew who did it. George Bush, it was Osama bin Laden. We got to get the terrorists. And I called the damn recruiters after I spoke to them. Like, you got to wait till you're 18. So I did the delayed entry program. So this is a program where you sign up, but you're not officially in the Marine Corps. And every Saturday you go to the recruiting office, you run laps, you do pull-ups, they teach you about the Marine Corps, you hang out. So and this shaves a year off your reserves. So I signed up for 4 years and then 4-year reserve. Now it's only 3. So I went to, after high school, I had 4 days and then I went to boot camp. So I didn't go to the summer party to the beach. I went right to Parris Island, South Carolina, 3 months of training in the hottest weather in South Carolina. Then I got back home for 2 weeks after graduating as a recruit or as a Marine. And then I went to combat training because I wasn't infantry. So infantry, you go to infantry school. Marine Corps combat training, because every Marine is a rifleman. So we all learn.
Was
how
that
to
the
use
one
the
that
rifle.
the training program that they had in Virginia at the time?
What about it?
Like that's the one that you went to
No,
for
no, no.
combat
This isn't.
training?
No, this is just basic Marine Corps combat training. It's in North Carolina. It was in Camp Lejeune.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we did it there, and then from 2 weeks after that, I think it was a week or a few weeks. I don't remember exactly. I think it was 2 or 3 or 4, maybe a month, but it could be 2. Basic stuff, rifle shooting, this and that. And then I went to engineer school because my MOS, my mode of service, was a combat engineer. So combat engineer builds fortifications, sandbags, barbed wire, sea huts, huts for us to stay in, landmine sweeping, blowing things up. But all Marines are riflemen, so even convoy security. Look, it doesn't matter what your job is. They tell
you're
you
a rifleman.
It does, yeah. A Marine does.
You're gonna have a gun and you're gonna shoot.
Yeah, exactly. So after my Marine Corps school, it was 3 months. I got to the fleet. Now the fleet is just the term for the job. It's just you get to I was stationed in North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I had friends go to Okinawa, Japan. Other friends go to Camp Pendleton. That's whatever else. And so
depends on what region you're going to be working with.
So I had friends at boot camp that they went away, but I had some that stayed with me. So I got to North Carolina, at my base, Camp Lejeune. And then it took me just 2 months. We had February 14th, 2003, I was deployed to Kuwait. We stayed in Kuwait for 1 month, and then we marched we drove into Iraq in a convoy. I think it was March 03 or March 23rd. I forgot what date it was, but it was a month later. And then we stayed now the Marine Corps is not like the Army. We don't stay for a year, 2 years, 3 years. That's not us. We're not an occupying force. The Marine Corps secures areas. We come into the bays, we make sure everything's on, and then the Army comes in and the Air Force and all that. Well, the Air Force comes in before us too, but
you're always the ones in.
We're the first to fight, and that's our term. So we got in there, we did our thing, and at my mission in the first war for OIF 1, Operation Iraqi Freedom, I put it in quotes, was to help the infantry. I was attached to 1st Marine Corps Division. That's infantry. We were supporting them because 8th Engineer Support Battalion, we support the infantry, and we had to build bridges. So my group built medium girder bridges. You put them together like Legos, and then you launch them over the gap. And then we also had the IRBs where you open them up and they float in the water. Yep.
And then you push them around.
Yeah, exactly. So we did that. That was my main mission for that tour. So we helped them do that. And that's where I saw the death and destruction on the mass level. Entire cities laid out, dead people. I saw some Marines die. Now, I personally didn't kill anyone, thank God. An IED went off on our Humvee, but it misfired. It went pop. And I was like, what the hell? We didn't know what happened. We saw this white thing go up and it didn't blow. Thank God I wouldn't be here, or I'd be injured or maimed or something. So that happened. Sniper shots, people trying to shoot us with an AK-47 by 1,000 meters, could never hit us. Mortar rounds would come in. That's where I saw the Marines get killed. So I experienced combat in indirect fire, but I didn't, even though I was a 240 gunner, even though I was a combat engineer, they put me on the gun. The one time I could have shot people, the guy's like, hey, don't shoot anyone. We got Marines there. And I didn't do it. Thank God. Okay. But the first tour was the actual invasion. So everything was destroyed. We were sleeping on the roads. We had to dig a hole to go to the bathroom, all that stuff. I got 5 months of that. Then I came back. A year later, exactly on February 14th, again, Valentine's Day. Okay. Right again back to Kuwait.
They love you.
Yep. And then right back to the same place. This time I was stationed at Al-Assad Air Base. Now you might remember that. This is where when Soleimani was stupidly killed by Trump, it was a very stupid thing to do for the Israelis. They bombed Al-Assad Air Base. The Iranians retaliated. Now, I wasn't there for this. This was years later. But before that, I was there. Now, Al-Assad Air Base, completely different thing. We had a gym. We had food. We had showers. We had everything. We were in the base, So there, our mission was humanitarian. Okay. We would go out into this town.
Do they have to deal with Liberty? Because there were 2 big camps. There was Liberty and what was the other one across from it? But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I forgot the name of it. I know.
Yeah, it was like everybody who went to Iraq have been to either Liberty or the other one across from it. I can't remember the name of the second one.
It's so long ago, but all I remember is that I was in Al-Assad Air Base, and I also had a little stay at Haditha Dam as well. That's where I met the Azerbaijani soldiers, which were interesting to see. But our tour this time was to humanitarian efforts. So if we saw, like, for example, a playground that was blown up, we'd fix it. We'd also we'd get rid of the landmines. We'd also get rid of the IEDs. So this tour was about getting rid of weapons caches, unexploded ordnance disposal. So we worked with EOD, which was pretty interesting. But again, convoy security, just making sure we clean up the mess we started, and win the hearts and minds of the Iraqi people. Like, hey, we're actually the good guys, whatever, right? So that was my second tour. This tour lasts 7 months. So the entire time I was in theater was a year. And, I thought I was a good guy. I mean, I thought we were saving these people from Saddam. They had no idea what was going on. Many of them were illiterate. They thought we were saving them too. Fortunately, it's not the case. So, and I ran into Blackwater Security. These guys, backwards hats, Nike shoes, they do whatever they want, driving around. No one could keep them accountable. These are the guys who got killed. Remember those guys who got blown up because they were shooting civilians. They could do whatever they want. These guys are maniacs. They were getting $100,000 a year, 120,000. I'm getting pennies. These guys are doing whatever they want. And by the way, all the time.
That's how it ended, with so many military are leaving the military and joining Blackwaters. Yes. It's like
so much money.
The beginning idea of the Wagners of nowadays.
So, we ran into these guys that did whatever they wanted. Every day we'd drive by oil trucks, man. I'd be going this way to the camp. They would be coming this way. We were taking all the oil from the Iraqis. It was horrible to see. But, the people, we'd feed them. I played rummy with one of the kids. I didn't even know what we were playing. We were playing a card game, and he was Muslim. He was showing me his beads, and I was showing him my rosary because I was Catholic at the time. And, I didn't know what we were saying to each other, but one of them thought my friend was Van Damme. Van Damme, Van Damme. All the kids were playing soccer. So this is like wartime, but there's some humanity there. We really believe we were the good guys. And these poor people, we destroyed everything, So, yeah, it was heartbreaking to see. But, after I got back from my tours, my ankle was getting worse. I had a bad ankle anyway. And I have a dorsal coalition. My ankle is shorter by a quarter, a little bit, like this much. And it's also fused because I broke my leg in high school. And this was getting agitated, being in boots all the time, running around. So they said, Mr. Gage, or Corporal, actually Lance Corporal, is a Gage. You can get out if you want medically, but you might not get your GI Bill, and all you got is a year and a half left. So why don't you sit it out? We'll put you on light duty. We'll make you a MIMS clerk, which is basically, for my unit, we had boats and bridges and all that parts, maintain the inventory. I said, okay.
Yeah.
I was in front of a computer for the first time in a long time. And this is where I started doing research, because I kept hearing about Fallujah. What's up with this Fallujah? Why is it so bad? Google Fallujah, white phosphorus. I go, huh? Wait a minute. I thought we invaded Iraq to stop Saddam because he had chemical weapons, mass destruction, but we're using it on people. And I'm looking at these skeletons, these people burned alive. Are we the bad guy? And that's when I started waking up, Sharif.
That was the wake up.
That was the beginning. And then, not to get into conspiracies, but there's another thing. So my friend's brother sent us a DVD, 9/11 Loose Change. This is the towers blown up. So these things, whether you believe them or not, I started to think, wait a minute, what if we're the bad guys? What if we were lied to? And then when I got in the Marine Corps, all the research I did to realize we were lied to about virtually every war ever, going from World War I, World War Vietnam, Gulf of Tonkin never happened, but that's why we went into the war. I mean, there's so many lies about these wars.
That's the only difference now, is that our phones with cameras that are able to catch things and alter the narrative.
Right. So we might find out, decades later, Gulf of Tonkin never happened, but everyone's dead who lied about it. Right now we see Ukraine war, Ghost of Kiev, or the raping babies, and the Russians have Viagra. It's all bullshit. We see it immediately, just like this Israeli thing. 40 beheaded Jewish babies gone in one day, rape gone in one day, all these lies, because now they're being debunked in real time, thanks to Elon giving us some platform, which, as you mentioned, I'm blowing up and other people are blowing up, but they're starting to crack down on people. They're starting to have the little, as you guys saw yesterday, the police came to my house, intimidating me, they didn't do it, but, he's dangerous. He has guns. This is what these people do. These Zionists, they're maniacs. So, but this ties
intimidation is a very cheap tactic.
Oh yeah, all they got to do is make a phone call and lie about you. But this is why I recorded that incident. By the way, guys, if you go to my X, it's Lucas_Gage_. You can see the video, and these guys know I'm not a threat to society, but they have to do their job. Mr. Gage, what you said on X, and these people from the Jewish community are concerned, but they're all Zionists.
Check mark. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So they lie about these babies getting blown up. Of course, they're gonna lie about me. What am I? Of course, if they're going to lie about these beheaded children that never happened, they're denying what they're doing in Gaza. No, no, we're hitting Hamas. I have yet to see one Hamas guy get pulled out of the rubble. All I see is children and men, women, unarmed combatants. And even Wolf Blitzer, you know, the guy, he's a maniac Zionist. He can't even, he's asking one of these guys, so wait a minute, you bombed all these people knowing that they were there for one commander. Is he dead? No, we do not know if he's dead. So you blew him up anyway, and you don't care. It is, well, this is war. I'm like, no, it's just not. So even Wolf Blitzer can, this guy's a maniac, pro-Zionist, pro-Iraq. Even he can't defend it. Even the most left-wing Joy Reid is like, this is a genocide. People are starting to wake up. It's indefensible. You know, and because the Ukraine war was full of shit anyway, and people are starting to catch on to that. So look, what happened was this, Sharif. Once they admitted no weapons of mass destruction, big mistake. They try to lie about Syria, Assad. Some people still believe he gassed him. Others people who wake up, they realize it's a lie. All these jihadists that are Wahhabists, they're not real Muslims. They're all Saudi Arabia, the U.S., Israel funded. All these people kill Muslims. Isn't that weird? They kill Muslims and Christians. They don't. The one time ISIS attacked Israel on accident, they apologized. Isn't that kind of strange? These are supposed to be the most anti-Semitic Muslims who are going to kill the Jew behind a tree. But if they hit Israel, oh, we're so sorry. So yeah, we noticed it was lies. It's all lies. And then so the Ukraine, more lies. And now this one, even more lies. And who believes anything? You know, we got these politicians, they're pushing billions. Now, here's another thing people are waking up to. So as Americans, you know, have issues with the economy, we can't afford anything. Our borders are open. We got to secure Ukraine border. Here's billions and billions here. Here's the billions. Now, Americans, what about us? What about us? What's going on here? You guys, an emergency package, this one, that one. You can't even close the border here, and you have no money unless it's for Israel. You always have money. You don't have no money for infrastructure. You can't fix our trains that are derailing in Palestine, East Palestine, Ohio, or whatever it was. You can't fix the roads. You can't fix our education, but billions for Israel, Iron Dome and more weapons. And this one for, I mean, Americans are seeing that these politicians do not represent us at all. And that's the white pill. You know, at least with all this corruption, we see it in real time and there's no escaping it. So people like myself, yourself, all the voices out there who are saying, look, all we're doing is saying, look, we're not making up conspiracy. We're just saying, look at that. Look at their own words.
It's very important that you said that now because as we are a representative of the democracy, the global democracy in the world, people think that since we voted for those politicians, then we agree on what they do. So the American people, every single individual American, since those are our representatives, because they are oppressive government, you know, countries and regimes who push their people. If you don't follow what we say, that means you're an enemy of the state.
Yes.
Unlike real democracies, like, yeah, you can complain, you can oppose, you can strike, you can do whatever that, you can do whatever you want, and we will do whatever we want. That doesn't mean you're an enemy of the state. What I saw happening to you yesterday was very alarming, that campaigns can be run, especially that you posted an explanation today from one of the Zionist supporters who spoke out and said, well, it was thank you for the people who campaigned to report blah, blah, blah to the police and make sure that, you know, there is no danger coming out of him. And you're a peaceful man. You're just speaking your mind, but your mind shoots out what is stronger than their bullets, which is knowledge and enlightenment to people who are less privileged or not have enough information or the time to do the research, because everybody wants to take everything to go. Nobody, I try to explain to people, and I understand both cultures clearly, that I try to understand to people that we don't know what the hell is happening at the town next door. We don't even know what if we know enough about the local news that there is blah, blah, blah accident closing this highway and we need to take the back roads. That's how much as we know about the local news. CNN and Fox News depends on if you're right or left. You're going to have one of them on, taking everything in a bullet, 15, 20 minutes. You're going to switch all that, open your comfortable Netflix and sit down and watch the TV show of your choice. We don't agree on everything we do. They do. It is alarming to me that the Jewish community is attacking, because I've actually lived on a Jewish side of town before. It happened by accident that I turned to be living right across from Chabad, the actual hardcore Jewish synagogue, and I actually ended up I discovered that on Saturday. I moved Friday night. I moved my stuff in Friday night. Saturday morning, I woke up to go see a friend, and it was like everybody was just crossing the street in outfits, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" So I looked at the map, and it was ta-da, Chabad.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was funny enough that the Jewish and the Israelis that were my neighbors, when they see me with my dog, and she was still alive, and I was taking her out in walks, that they were like, "Oh, Sharif, the Egyptians sent him to spy on us." I'm like, the Egyptians tell me I'm an Israeli agent because I speak against them, and you tell me that I am an Egyptian agent because I accidentally lived across from Chabad. So I'm sure that you've met tons of average Jewish people that are normal, sincere humans, and I know that lots of them are against what is happening. What do you think about the good side of the Jewish American community?
Yeah, so in my view, the Jewish people in the world in general, they've been conditioned to unfortunately, they've been conditioned to see any form of criticism as another Holocaust. They're very like, oh man, this guy's saying, because I'm very, you see my ex. I just push against, and I don't hate anyone, but I give them tough love. Okay, like listen, anti-Zionism, this and that, but there are people in your people's group. Okay, every group has a parasite class, I call them. So white people have it, black people have it, Jews have it. So Bibi Netanyahu does not care about Jews or Israelis. Nope. Look what he did. Now, I think October 7th, he let it happen. Just that's my view. A lot of CIA people agree. 9/11, Bush, same thing. So the leaders of the countries, they don't care. I mean, again, if the vaccine was dangerous, well, he didn't care about Israeli lives. I'll tell you that right now. He pumped them up. So well, my goal is,
or he got one of the clean patches.
Maybe he got the fake one. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But the people like Bill Gates is white. He doesn't care about me.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm white. So even a Jewish person, Anthony Bourla, Pfizer vet, he doesn't care about Jews. They don't care. These people are the parasite elite. They rule the world. They don't care about a few thousand people dying. This happened. Like the Israelis have a Hannibal, what is it called? The Hannibal program or whatever it's called, where like if you get captured, you're dead. They're not going to even save you. The Hannibal protocol. So if they have enough hostages, well, I guess we got to kill everyone.
Better dead than hostage alive.
Correct.
Alive. Yeah,
exactly.
better dead Israeli than an alive hostage.
Right. So again, there's people in the Jewish community who unfortunately are conditioned to be afraid of criticism. They think even just saying, look, Israel is wrong, all anti-Semitism. Or this is that everything's anti-Semitism. They're being brainwashed. No different than black people. I've noticed the same thing. So black folks, when you criticize something, oh, it's racist, it's whatever, white supremacy. And then when there's a black person who says, no, he's right. Oh, you're a race traitor. You're Uncle Tom. You're a house N-word. So I've seen a lot of Jewish people, when they stand up, they get called anti-Semite, self-hating Jew, Nazi. Wait, this guy's a Jew, Nazi. They hate Gilad Etzman. If you know Gilad, they hate him. They hate a lot of Jewish people who stand. Norman Finkelstein, they don't like them. Who was another one?
There's someone else, something Cohen. I've seen him. He's a producer too.
Daniel Cohen, I believe. Yeah. But I don't think they attack him much. But the thing is, there are people out there who've been around for a long. Gilad Atzmon's one of them. They hate him so much. But there's many Jewish folks who have Mike Pilad, I think, was a general's son. He's in the anti-Zionist movement. There's a lot of people who do it. But the average Jewish person is going to be manipulated by the media, no different than anyone else. So in our country, for example, if you're not on the black plantation, right, anti-white racist, then you're Uncle Tom. Okay, so if you're Thomas Sowell, you're a traitor. If you're a white person who's not afraid to be called racist and you're proud of yourself and you're an anti-Semite white supremacist. If you're a Jewish person who's like, this whole victimhood thing, yeah, we shouldn't push hate speech laws, we shouldn't ban this person, that you're a self-hating Jew. So every group has this pressure, and what I'm doing is I'm attacking all groups, white people. Stop being pussies. Everyone, look, white people right now are the biggest pussies in the world. You call us racist? Oh my God, take over our country. It's got to stop. Jewish people, oh, you don't believe this. You said the Holocaust. Hey, enough of that. We understand it's bad, but you can't do this to the Palestinians. Oh, you're Nazi. Like black people, listen, enough with the, oh no, you hate black. No, we got to toughen up, because let me tell you something, Sharif, when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s, We used to make jokes, racial jokes. I live in New Jersey. Everyone
until now, if you're an open-minded person and you're hanging out with other people, I'll make fun of the Arabs, of the
yeah, of
Jews,
course.
of
I
the
mean,
blacks,
okay, so
of
I
the
had
Asians and the
yeah.
Mexicans,
So I'm
and
Italian, right?
everyone that I see. What why
So
why
look, and
not?
my friends, I'll give you some of my friends. So I'm Italian. My friend was from Iran. I had another friend Chinese. Another one was Jewish. Another one was black. So we had the
Exactly.
black dad jokes. Iran, we had the terrorist jokes. China, man, we had the communist jokes. Jew, we had the greedy jokes. And me, I'm the gangster jokes. Now, all this would be hate speech today. Hate speech. I'd go to hate speech,
That's
get
a lot of
suspended.
fun. I
But
see
we're
that a
but
lot of fun.
so you know what it is, Sharif? If we cannot criticize each other as a joke, make fun of each other, then we're not a family. And therefore this diversity won't work. In order
Yeah.
for diversity to work, you have to have equality under the law. You can't have this group has hate speech law, this one
Bring down the
ADL.
walls, take
Right.
down the
So
lines.
because a family makes fun of each other. So either we could all make fun of each other or nobody can make fun of you. It's got to be one or the other. You can't have only this group is like, for example, the ADL protects Jewish people. You're an anti-Semite, this, that, everything like this. So you cannot have that. So I'm tough on everyone, not because I hate anyone. No one is listen to me. I want everyone to know, no matter what I say on X, it's strategic. It is to make emotional people. It is to get people angry. But I want them to say, why are you angry at me? Because of the words I said. Are these words similar to bullets? Is this word that I said as similar as a bomb that you're dropping on a child? No, there's programming here. So I try to break through that by being tough. And like you said, I'm willing to slap people because I'm a Marine. I was in boot camp. They weren't nice to you. Oh, get on the floor.
There is no sugar-coated words.
So I used to do the sugar coating and be kind and everything. It doesn't work. And the reason why I'm blowing up everywhere is because I'm expressing how the people truly feel. I'm saying be fearless. It's okay to criticize Israel. It's okay to do this and that. And this is the truth. And with the truth, we can unite as a family. That's what I want. So as much as people, you're an anti-Semite, you're a Jew hater. No, I don't hate anyone. Show me one time I hated an innocent person. Never. Never.
If I can say fuck Ukraine or fuck Russia, and I cannot criticize Israel, then you're creating a huge problem to Israel, not to me, because the criticism is going to be even stronger. You come out and you want to put a special class to a country that is already destroying all the standards that we build our whole civilization around, and you want me not to criticize that? What do I have to put a heart with an Israeli flag on my shirt to prove that I'm not a bad person? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, I cannot criticize. You saw that they're trying to pass a bill.
I saw a ridiculous law in France. 16 senators.
In France, $75,000 fine, and you get a fucking year in jail for saying fuck Israel. Fuck the French. We all know fuck the French since Iraqi war. We all said fuck the French. You know what I'm talking about.
Freedom fries. Remember, we changed the French fries to freedom fries. But
no, French fries. That's freedom fries.
That's the kind of protective class that you make, where you're going to have more resistance. You can't say this about another country. I can sit here and say America sucks.
Exactly.
Fuck this government.
And I could say fuck Joe Biden, and he would say,
when the cops came yesterday, they asked me, do you have anything about the I said, look, I think all of them are traitors. Really, no, but that's my own country. So I could criticize my own country, but I can't say fuck Israel or some other country because, well, Israel is specifically. Or even here in America, there are several states that as a company, you cannot boycott Israel. I mean, and then we have Ron DeSantis. Everyone's like, oh, he's so based, look at these COVID measures. Again, this is a trick. Anyone who's a nationalist in this country or in the world, either Orban, whether it be Bolsonaro, we pick one, they have to be pro-Israel. Otherwise, they get destroyed. Okay, so this guy flies to Israel 2 times to write an anti-Semitic law against Americans. Well, what is anti-Semitism? You have to understand, Sharif, back then, normally anti-Semitism means you just hate Jews. You just hate them for living, whether they're religious or not. Now, anti-Semitism, according to the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition, which they've passed in several countries, in 26 countries, unbinding, so it's not binded yet, anti-Semitism has gone from hating Jewish people and hurting them to criticizing Israel, saying Israel's a Nazi state, it's racist, it's our part. All this is anti-Semitism. It is.
You know what scares me the most? You know what scares me the most? When they started posting anti-Semitism is anti-Zionism.
Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism.
No. Fuck No, anti-Zionism because you're a fucking Zionist, and that's a political point of view.
And you
You're
can
a
change
fucking
that, you
Zionist.
know?
You're trying to shovel it up a religious ass and say, "Oh no, Zionism is no." El Sisi of Egypt is a Zionist.
Mhm.
Most of the Arab leaders are
Biden is
Zionists.
a Zionist. Yeah. I mean,
Huh?
look, there are more non-Jewish Zionists on earth than Jews.
Than Jews, exactly.
There's millions of non-Jew. The Christian Zionists outnumber Zionist Jews by millions of people. So to say it's
Outnumbers
anti-Zionist,
Jews.
are you
Christian
anti-Semitic?
Christian Zionist outnumbers the total number of Jews in
Right.
the
That's what
world.
I'm saying. So it's not possible for it to be anti-Semitic because there are non-Jewish people who are Zionists, like Joe Biden, for example, like every president ever except JFK, which is why his head got blown off. But that's what you have to understand is that these are tricks. And look, anti-Semitism is hating Jews for immutable traits. They cannot change them, right? They cannot leave the faith. You just hate them like Hitler, literally genetically hate them. This is the only way they are. They can never be different. Get rid of them. That's anti-Semitism. Okay. And of course, if you attack them because you're sure certain acts toward Jews, but disagreeing on ideology, which by the way, it just started like 100 years ago. Like Theodore Herzl and these guys, they just made it up like in the late 1800s. Like, hey, you know what? Let's make up our own state. Now they say, well, actually, because a lot of Zionists say, no, we always pray next year in Jerusalem. Always pray the Jews, right? But that's when the Moshiach comes. And this is a whole religious thing. It's interesting to me because a lot of the Zionists are atheists, the founders specifically. How are they going to make a claim to a holy land that they don't even believe in the first place? You see what I'm saying? That's another fallacy of Zionism. Oh, well, the Jewish people lived here 3,000 years
They
ago.
call it politics.
You know what? I'm a descendant of Rome. I'm going to take back the entire Roman Empire because thousands of years ago, it's stupid. Or I could even say, you know what? We all come from Africa. So I'm going to raise an army, invade the entire continent and slaughter, and because take it over because it's me, because I belong.
And that's even before Jews. And you can claim that was even before Jews.
Yes, exactly. So it's just an argument that is ridiculous. But, and look, the Zionist project, actually, there were several countries that they could have picked from. During the fascist takeover of in Africa, Ethiopia, they had a plan there. They had one in Madagascar. They had an idea in the Soviet Union. There was the autonomous Jewish Oblast. There was another one, I think, in Uganda, the British Uganda. So there were several different places they could have had their homeland. But Rothschild chose right dead smack in the middle of all the Arab nations to put a Jewish state. And again, this came with the Nakba, the ethnic cleansing of these people. So 1 minute you're neighbors, the next minute get out of the house. What do you mean? Get out, Mohammed, you're done. Get out. Well, I'm your friend. Not anymore. Get out. That's what happened. Yep. But they want to play that. No, everything was fine until Hamas flew over the wall October 7th. Okay,
well,
which is very suspicious.
That kills the question that is always they start with, do you condemn Hamas?
Yep.
Well, the story didn't start on October 7th. If it started on October 7th, yeah, of course I condemn Hamas because that would be an act of terrorism. You're attacking civilians, you're kidnapping them, you're shooting at people in their own country. But that's if the story started on October 7th. But if we we roll back the story even a couple of months before that, you will see people getting humiliated, spit on, slapped, arrested, killed, kidnapped, everything in masses. But what's happening now, in my own opinion, as you said, this is all staged. This is part of a bigger plan. I think it's building up strategically to another hot spot, another war game, East and West confrontation building up. Israel spoke a couple of years ago about Middle East NATO that is covering Sunni Muslim countries with Israel to confront Iran and its allies. So it's going to be Israel Sunnis versus Shiites, which of course you back that up by America with its Sunni boys and Israel versus Russia with its Shia boys and their support, if it's not China as well. But what's happening now, and I took note of it, that when you talk about destroying Hamas, this is just the package. The actual target is to clean out Gaza and take it over. And that's why you're moving tanks. That means that tanks cannot work against individuals. Tanks work against tanks. Tanks work against buildings. and that's or shooting far distance stuff, which you don't need that in Gaza because it's already a jail, an open jail. You can reach to at any point from the closest point to it. So I see the tanks going in, and I understand what's behind that. It's the cleansing, they are ethnically cleansing the whole area, and they are just mowing it down to the south towards Egypt borders. And there is going to be a big theater over there. And even if Iran, and like yesterday, we all saw Hezbollah lame word, I think that it's just a maneuver. Somebody's buying time. And even if Iran, in my own opinion, will try to dodge the confrontation at that point and play it like, oh, we don't have anything to deal with that. We didn't know anything. I see Russian planning. I see Iranian training. And I see Palestinian have nothing to live for. So they're doing everything they can so they can die with honor. But the bigger plan, that even if Iran or Hezbollah try to dodge the confrontation, something is going to trigger it. Like you bomb something big, you shoot something huge.
Well, even a false flag, Sharif. I mean, the Zionists are known for false flags, even against Jewish people, like the Lavon affair. They try to blow up a synagogue, blame it on the Egyptian when it was them.
Yeah, 1956. I remember that.
Yeah, this is the masters of the Mossad is what they do. They do deception. They do false flags. They trick people. They trick their own ally. They trick the United States. I mean, they lied to us about weapons of mass destruction. It was the Israelis that told us that Saddam did the anthrax attacks. Never happened. They never happened. It was up.
Yeah.
So this is what they do, and you don't expect your great ally to do this, but that's what they do. And so they're there plotting their little schemes, and it could be a false flag or it could be a misfire and blaming on someone else. But I think it could escalate. Now the thing is, look at America with all our military might. We have not won a war since I can't remember. We didn't beat the Vietnamese. We didn't do anything. We just lost soldiers and got nothing. We didn't beat the Afghanis. We were there. But
we sold weapons. We sold weapons.
Oh, sure. Look, people made money. We didn't beat anyone, really. I mean, we just go in there, we kill people, take their stuff. And that's not a win because, and then we put puppets in there. But we didn't win as Americans. We won nothing. The people, I mean, of course, the traders and the Raytheons and the bankers. Yeah. But we, the people, won nothing. So this is going to be a forever war. Like anyone, I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully, something happens where the people that are plotting this scheme, they realize it's not worth doing. I don't know what Iran's going to do. I'm not a geopolitical expert, but Iran is not Iraq. So I think the United States realizes, especially after we killed Soleimani, again, a very stupid move on Trump's end. He probably didn't even know who he was until that day, and they just said, "Look, this guy's killed Americans," which is false, and he probably killed them for Israelis, by the way. The Iranians want that vengeance for his death because he was a great man. He actually helped us kill ISIS. It was him,
But who trained ISIS?
Yeah,
those are our boys. What are you talking about?
Of course, those are our assets. Yeah, so Iran, I mean, is not a weak military, and so if we ever fought with them, they would sink our carriers. They would do a lot of damage. I mean, Lebanon too. The Israelis don't want to fight them head on, so they want to draw America in because the Israelis can look. They can kill children, men, women. They can do all that. They can bomb Gaza, but they're not going to defeat Hezbollah. They're not going to defeat Iran. They're just not. But if they could suck us in, they'll have a chance. But again, if they suck us in, we're going to see Russia, perhaps China, and Iran. And then we have this Gog and Magog war that everyone talks about, this biblical end war thing, hopefully not, but it can get very ugly. And look, and now we know the Israelis started it. They didn't have to do this. The attack happened. It happened in October 7th. It's not a good thing, but it's a response to all the bad things that happened all over these years. I understand it. I don't condone it. And I've also heard the Israelis kill a lot of people in the crossfire. So it wasn't even just Hamas killing people, but again, these people have been put in a camp for 75 freaking years, and they jumped out for one day and did all this stuff. And we know there's other things, stabbings and bombing. It's happened over the years, but always a response to Israeli aggression. And every time there's a ceasefire, new settlements are built because the Zionists don't want a two-state solution. They'll never do it, and they want all of it. So there you go. So they want to completely ethnically cleanse the area. And I made a video. Not only are they ethnically cleansing these people, they are literally, by all ticks and measures that I've looked up in the UN, they're genociding them as well. So everything they're doing is ethnic cleansing and genocide. And people are sitting around like, okay, well, Israel's a right to defend itself. Well, when you look at these children that are blown to pieces where you can't even identify them, how is that defense? Where are the Hamas militants being pulled out of the rubble? They're not there. And it's so stupid. They're using human shields. Well, if they're in tunnels, why are you hitting hospitals? Well, how are you going to get to the tunnel through the hospital? It makes no sense. You know, there's people there. We told them to leave. Leave where? Where can they run to? They don't care because they're killing everyone. This is the supremacist mindset. Even Bibi
They're even
Netanyahu.
bombing the south. They're telling people go to the south, and they go ahead to the south and they bomb them over there. They say the tunnel runs under the hostel because Israel built that tunnel. Well, motherfuckers, if you build that tunnel, so you know where the fucking tunnel starts from and where it goes to. Why are you picking exactly the hostel point to strike? It's a fucking tunnel. It's not a ball that you're trying to, kind of bullseye it or anything. It's a tunnel that is running between 2 points. So why are you picking that exact point if you know it that much?
Well, if you look
at Bibi, all the logic of lies you can break in seconds. Just you look at it and it just tumbles and falls like, pillar of sand.
Well, remember also Bibi, in order to get back in power, I mean, because this October 7th event, it benefits him a lot. Before this happened, there was a lot of protests against Bibi Netanyahu, right? He basically wanted
to take over the legislative system.
Yeah, so now that this attack happened,
system and all that.
Coincidentally, this attack happened, unites the Israelis against the common enemy, gives Bibi a chance to do the final solution for the Palestinian problem. That's what this is. Like you said, it's a land grab, it's a move, it's bigger than just fighting Hamas. Hamas is the cover story. Hamas is the human shield, if you will, to get rid of all the Palestinians in the region, right? Now, if the Palestinians is all left, it'd be, but who's going to leave their homes, right? And Egypt doesn't want them all in because why don't they take them in? They've already taken people in. There's millions of different Palestinians in different parts of the world, in Jordan, Lebanon. They've already taken. How many more can they take? You're going to cause a problem. And then they're going to be complicit in this ethnic cleansing by taking everyone in. And these people don't want to leave their homes. And why should they leave their homes? So they're getting massacred in front of the world. And it's a very terrible situation. Now, the Israelis are losing in the PR, right? The public, they are absolutely losing everything. The only thing that makes them seem like they got support are the treacherous politicians and the mainstream media. But when you go to X or any other social media, you see that millions of people support Palestinians. It's just insane to believe otherwise. So the boomers,
the new generation,
So
it's the new generation, the Zoomers, which when I went back to school, they were my classmates. Way more diverse than we were. They are way more knowledgeable. They grew up with Google search on their fingertips. They didn't have to wait to the TV show to tell them lies over lies. They are diverse. They accept everyone. The more you diversify, the more fun the group is. So they're all about having a gay friend, having a Muslim, having a Jew, an Indian looking, a black, an Asian, a white. They like that toss. They love that mix, and they are inclusive to everyone. They don't want to corner anyone out. So I think when that conflict was injected again and triggered again, they just go with the good people or with the right side. They are non-tribal, like older.
Right, it's not a tribal thing.
Yeah, it's not a tribal thing. It's about the right and the wrong. And I see that that's what filled most of the streets around the world were non-Arabs. We don't have that much Arabs in the West.
No,
but it's the people with big hearts. That's why I always think that humanity will win, and will win. We want to live together. People want to live together. Politicians don't. Mm-hmm. Politicians want conquer and divide and conquer. Want to divide us, want to select and elect and all that so they can control, while the people themselves, if you let the people just get to meet and hang out, that they will define who's good and who's bad in every culture and every race, religion.
Yeah, it's a merit-based system. And look, there are people who prefer their own religion and race, and that's fine. And let them be alone.
To be ethnocentric is known.
There's no. It's when you force it upon people, there's conflict. Now, there are going to be people who, like you said, want to be friends with every race and religion. That's fine. Other people say, look, I want to be like the Amish and live on my own. Big deal. As long as you're not hurting anyone, who cares? But the problem is they know, they create the media. Oh, look at these crime rates. Look at the Muslim rape gangs. Look at the white supremacist cops. It's all to program each group to hate each other and then shove them together. And then there's a war. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's what they use multiculturalism or diversity as a weapon after they've not extreme, what's the word, they
Inflame.
radicalize these people to think a
Yeah.
certain way, and then boom. Because when you talk to people naturally, you got different types of friends, you might have preferences, who you
I've
want to
hung out
date.
with neo-Nazis before.
Yeah, whatever, as
With
long as they're not.
Jews, with blacks, like extreme to the neo-Nazi kind of
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
Shaved heads and tattoos with all the, signs and symbols and all that. And I was the first Middle Eastern American they ever spoke to.
Yeah.
And they were like, actually, you're not as bad as
Right, because they're
what
programmed
people.
that you're subhuman, you're going to kill them, and that's what it's the media telling them. And one thing, so these people, the Zionists and their agents, they're everywhere, man. They're controlled opposition. They'll be in Nazi groups, anti-Nazi groups, black groups, anti-black groups, Muslim groups, and they're in every group. Like these Tommy Robinsons, right? Oh, mate, we gotta stop the British Muslims, right? And I
Yeah.
speak to someone like Soliman, who's a friend on Twitter. He's growing big. He's like, look, man, Islam's not taking over Europe. What's happening is Christians are leaving Christianity by 25%. Muslims grew by 1%. And that's what happened in Europe. Now, is the middle, is every name Muhammad in London? Is it diverse? This is what the alt-right says. Is it true? How do you know it's true? That's what they're saying. I don't know what's going on. The point is, whatever is happening, if it's happening naturally, that's one thing. But forcing it on people is the problem. And they do that because people resist force. They know that. So again, the people who run the world, they know that we human beings are tribal. It could be sports. How many people fight in soccer? You see the British English teams, they beat the shit out of each other over fucking sports teams. People get into fights over religion. So people are tribal no matter how you do it. Even me, if I see a Marine, I go, hey brother, what's going on? Just because he was in the Marine Corps.
It's the way you connect,
Yes, it's
how
the
you
experiences
connect
that you have with each other.
others, makes you
So
feel
people like
comfortable.
to be with similar people. Now, I'm the kind of person, I get along with anyone. Doesn't matter who they are. As long as they're
Same here,
friendly and they're
sir.
open minded. Yeah, I don't mind.
Same here.
I don't care. But some people just they prefer their own, and that's their preference. Okay, big deal.
Yeah.
As long as you're not hurting people, whatever. But again, the people, the parasite class that control the media, they understand our psychology. They know how to inflame each group. So that's why you show the black people enough cops shooting them, oh, BLM and white supremacist cops. You show Jewish people, everyone's a Nazi. Oh, everyone's a Nazi. You show Christians, every Muslims, or you show Muslims, this is what's happening there, Islamophobia, or gay people. They show every group what they fear the most so that everyone hates each other, and then we can't unite against the people starting the problem. That's what they're doing, Sharif. The people who are the problem are the Zionist supremacists, the people who control the media, the banks. They don't want us. Remember Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street.
Yep.
Everyone was there, black, white, green, every ism you can imagine. What happened? Oh man, these guys are getting together. Hey, we need to start pumping up feminism and white privilege and all this other stuff and wage gap. And all of a sudden we started yelling at each other. We forgot about the people robbing us. That's how these people work. So again, Zionists are doing the same thing. I've noticed it now. They're trying to up the propaganda against Islam. So I'm pushing back saying, hey, Christians and Muslims, let's unite. That's what we need to do against these people, because they're the ones who try. Because if we don't unite, they're going to blow up your countries, blame the Christians, and then you come over here and we fight. And that's what happened with the Iraq War. George Bush, he's not Christian, pretends to be. Oh, this God, we got to fight the Muslims. It's a holy war. Bullshit.
Oh man,
look at Bibi Netanyahu. Bibi Netanyahu bringing up Talmudic verses about Amalek and the children of the light. And Amalek is supposed to be exterminated. One of the mitzvahs in Judaism, exterminate Amalek and all of his descendants. That's why they killed the children. They don't care because they're animals. That's why they keep saying human animals. There are parts of Judaism that have, in any religion, it's supremacist. There's parts of it where these are animals. They're not even people. So you kill the baby. So what? I had one rabbi, he said, you're killing the baby, doing him a favor. Otherwise, he'll grow up and be like his father and be even more upset. He have no parents. If you kill him now, he won't suffer. I'm like, wow. Who's heard this before?
They take it to the extreme point.
Correct. So
that's one time they would say that.
Like you've seen it. You've seen it. In Islam, there's extremism. There's even Christianity. The West Baptist Church got to kill gay people. Every religion's got these fanatics. Now the thing is, Bibi Netanyahu had to team up with the fanatics to get in power.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Is repressive governments and control freaks and stupid ass politicians, they don't want to bring you on TV the priest or the rabbi or the sheikh that is like talking about union and connecting with others and being kind to humans and all that. they always put the spotlight on the extremist versions of the religions to make it the way to communicate. So Muslims in the Middle East will think, oh, look at the fucking how the rabbi talks to them.
Yeah.
Well, there was a female rabbi standing up right in the face of Go Brandon and telling him straight up in the face, cease fire now. She's a Jewish rabbi, but of course, she's a kind woman. She's not an extreme. She's not an extremist, and she wants to find a resolution to the conflict, not by killing people. They would not put the spotlight on that.
No, they'll
They would
say,
put the spotlight on the rabbi, like, go kill all the Muslims, and they're all animals, and they're all motherfuckers. The same thing with sheikhs, the same thing with priests,
the guys that
fucked
memory
up ones in the head.
Yeah, all the religions they all have the extremists that they point out, because again, it's divide and conquer. If you think every Muslim is ISIS, well, of course you don't want them in your country. Of course, get them out of here, ban them, get rid of them. If you think every Christian's a KKK guy, he's a Nazi, of course you don't want to be friends. If you think every Jew is going to, be this crazy person who wants a Noahide, chop off your head, of course. I mean, that's what happens. Most religious people, I find, Sharif, don't really practice the religion fully. They know the gist of it. They'll go to synagogue once in a while. They go to Christmas church. They go to the mosque here and there. They're not by the book, literally everything. They know the book is the word of God in their mind. They believe it, but it's like an analogy. It's parables. It's not literally, they say jihad. It doesn't mean kill everyone. It means yourself inside of you.
Yeah.
But because religion is vague, they don't tell you they can take jihad mean kill everyone or chop off this guy's head.
Because it's a catchy word. It's easy. Oh, jihad means blah, blah, blah. No, there is something called self-jihad, which is like, for people like us with PTSD, you're really fighting so many battles within your chest and within your mind that nobody
Sharif,
knows about.
Every email I get from Muslim people, thank you so much. I cannot believe it. You're doing God's work. Anytime you need a house, let me know. If you ever come to Lebanon, you're welcome. If you ever come to Jordan, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And then he says, by the way, read the Quran. every time. Hey, look, read the Quran.
They're trying.
No, read the Quran. I'm like, thank you very much. But every one of them is, I cannot believe a Marine is speaking the way you do. Inshallah, thank you very much. Shukran, marhaba, all this stuff.
Those little things make a lot of difference because now you understand the culture.
The biggest thing is they said, we just want a voice. And what you're doing is you're doing so much for us. I had this one girl say to me, we were talking about you at the dinner table. I said, wow. Did you see the sign the woman in Turkey held up?
Yeah, I was so happy for that when she put your thank you and your name was Jackson, included on the thank you sign.
It was George Galloway and then myself. I said, wow, I've reached the Turkish people. You know what I mean? So that means my message is global and it's for humanity. Despite our differences in religion and beliefs, it's okay. We have differences, we have preferences, we have different cultures. That's the beauty of diversity, right? Is what they exist in their own areas and peace and everything. And then we have people who mingle. That's great. But these globalists want to destroy all of us, make us all capitalist consumers and the borders. This is what they're trying to do. It's very bad. But again, I'm happy that people reach out, and every day I love you. Of course, I get hate mail. You dumb goy, I'll kill you. Okay, get some.
Once you speak against the mainstream, of course, you're gonna even get people who get paid just to go after you.
Oh yeah. And they're gonna.
But the way people know you, the way you represent people that you're not part of, the only thing that connects you to them is your good heart and your good mind and your willingness to fight for the right side. Those people are reaching out to you with emotions, with very positive vibes and feelings. In our case, or in our cases, being brown with an accent, you're already discredited. You're biased. You're already biased because you're carrying a different culture and you're speaking on its behalf. But when you find someone from the audience or the attendees or the people who are supposed to be listening to you to understand your message and say it in the way that his people can understand it, coming out from one who stood amongst them, in your case, with pride as a service member, that makes a lot of difference. That makes 100 million times of an impact, or my impact can be totally marginalized compared to a one honest word from someone like you. I
Yeah.
saw another white guy who said, "Oh, I was always in this and always in that." And in the past 2 weeks, I did my homework, and it doesn't take me long to be on the right side. I'm gonna, for the rest of my life, I will be standing up for those people and speaking on their behalf because nobody believes them when they say it. So I think that our impact, it doesn't matter how strong it is marginalized compared to somebody from a Western born and raised family
Yep.
sticking up, standing up, and joining the fight for the right thing, not tribal emotions and connection feelings that ties you to your immediate comfort zone members.
Yep.
So that's a lot. That's a lot. And on behalf of a lot of people, thank you, Lucas. You and so many good people with good hearts, great hearts, are helping the deed of breaking that. That's why I said they tried to paint Ukraine with Israel, but the story didn't stand for 3 days, and it was totally demolished. I stopped watching CNN and Fox News and all that for about 10 days, and then I came back and I'm looking at it. I'm like, what the fuck happened here? Like, they started changing the narrative. They are trying to play the balance. Of course, it's not as balanced when they fucking speak about neglected cows on the surroundings of Gaza and not talking about kids who are fucking torn apart.
Yeah,
I love cows and everything, but if you are that considerate about Israeli cows, would you please take a look about Palestinian children?
yes.
So it's still not at the balanced area by any mean, but 100% there is a change of narrative, and the tone had went to a whole. Even CNBC took down the two Muslim anchors that they have on TV. It was like everybody was like fucking going crazy about it, and like, what the hell is going on? Where is the freedom of speech?
Yeah.
Well, there is a freedom of speech, and there is Israeli freedom of speech that they're trying to push it on us. Do you want to say anything?
No, I just want to say one of the I get thousands of emails, hundreds, not thousands, hundreds a day, DMs and everything from Instagram. And one of them stood out to me because there was a young boy. He said, "Hey, I went up to the 8th floor to send this message." And I said, "Wow, man, I can't believe it," because there's internet's in and out there. They didn't get rid of it completely. So there's SIM cards. This young man sent me and I responded to him. And they never responded. So I don't know if he's alive or not, but I had out of all the emails, I said, "Oh my God, be safe, be strong. We see what's happening. I'm speaking for you." And that was very inspiring, this young boy. I hope he's alive, but chances he might not be. But he went up the fucking building.
If you still have that message, send it to me and I can.
I gotta get it out of my email. Yeah, it's there, man.
Post it. I can post it around and ask if this guy is still there to contact Lucas.
I actually posted on
Lucas
X.
wants to
I'll
check
find it on
him.
X, but a lot of people, man, from Morocco, from the United Emirates, Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, you name it. There's just love, love, love. I cannot believe them. I've never in my life, and I'm an introvert, man. I know I look like an extrovert alpha guy. I'm more of a Sigma male. I do my thing in the shadows, that kind of thing. But I am introverted.
Was that before or after PTSD?
I've always been introverted a little bit.
Oh, you've always been intro? Okay.
I liked before the PTSD, I was more friendly and outgoing. With the PTSD, even more so, I'm introverted. Like
that's why I asked
get overwhelmed with attention, Like people, you're so well spoken, you do that's on a video. But after this video, I'm gonna have to chill out.
Yeah, that sounds the same way now.
Yeah, it's like my wife went to Atlantic City with the kids today to go to the pool. My son's birthday was the other day. So I have a house to myself is the best for me. I love my wife and children, but I go to the gym 6 days a week. That's my sanctuary, away from people, work out, but I'm a very, very.
Do you put the shut the fuck up earpiece on your ears?
Yeah, right.
You put the big shut the fuck up ones?
I have little ones, but yeah, people leave me.
Okay.
I look like you can't talk. I'm very mean in the gym looking.
Yeah,
hi, how are you? Once you approach me, I'm fine. But I'm very introverted. So a lot of this stuff takes energy out of me but I do it because it's the right thing to do. It's something that I think is necessary to do. And I honestly, it's not only just necessary, it's my nature to do it. Like I tried to stop years ago to get away from, I just can't, man. You cannot see the world the way it is. And like, I'll never meet these people who send me love. I'll never see them in my life, but it doesn't matter. I've connected with them. I've inspired. They inspire me. You know, people have been very generous with donation. I never done this for money in my life, Sheriff. Donations are coming in. Thank you for buying me coffee, all this stuff, buying my books, and just to show support, just because I'm speaking for them. You know, and I'm going to do it anyway.
And nobody's telling you what to say or what not to say. You're just speaking your mind.
No, it's funny because I know Zionists are sending people emails. Hey, we'll give you $5,000 per post on TikTok if you say something. Can you imagine desperateness? Pay people on TikTok $5,000 for these influencers. That's incredible. But no, we're not getting paid. I mean, X is paying us for impressions and things like this. But if we wanted to make money, because you're a grifter, man. If I wanted to make money, I'd be a Zionist.
Exactly.
I'd be making way more money. You know, I get talk show. I'd be with Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson on the Daily Wire instantly. Oh, veteran joined Zionism. I'd be a freaking superstar overnight, you know, but I chose to do the right thing instead and stand with Palestine. So, you know, again, this is a massacre. It's a genocide. It's ethnic cleansing. It is the wrong thing in front of our faces. And it's similar to George Floyd. And let me explain this before we get going. You know, George Floyd, police brutality exists, okay? It's happened to every race, even white people. But George Floyd, whether he died from fentanyl or the knee and the neck or both, we'd say Chauvin was an idiot anyway. Let's just go in the middle. He was both drugs and the knee. George Floyd died in everyone's home. It happened in their face. So everyone's shocked by it. Police brutality happens all the time, but you always hear a story. Last week, this happened to this guy. 2 days ago, it's always after the fact. But George Floyd died in everyone's face.
In front of people. Yeah.
And the camera. This genocide in Gaza is happening in everyone's face. Israel's been doing this for 75 years, but you always hear it later. But now everyone's got a phone. Everyone's uploading the children. Everyone's in the hospital. We are debunking the lies in real time. You know, oh, the Israelis didn't hit the hospital. Well, this guy just said he did. We screen capped it. The guy laughed about it. Whatever his Natalev, whatever his name is, the spokesman. Yeah, we hit the hospital. He deletes it. We got the deleted picture. We got the thing he said. We got this one report. We got everything. We got all the receipts, Sharif.
Exactly.
We got people doing investigative journalism. Here's the sound of a JDAM. Here's the sound of the one from Hamas. Here's the target. Here's the video. Here's the other video. Here's the other angle. We are destroying the narrative. Thanks to Elon.
We are not allowing winners to write history like back in the day when winners only wrote history. No, not this time. It's not going to happen.
And this is what Elon wanted X to become. And this journalism, he wanted this to be the hub of all the information in the world. So yeah, you can go to Fox, you can go to CNN, but there are people coming here to get the story, listening to our spaces. But again, just like George Floyd died in every American's home, Gaza is happening in every American's home, and they're trying to hide the fact that,
and it's hurting a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, the things are the one kid who got stabbed by the crazy guy, the Muslim kid who got stabbed by the crazy guy a few days ago. You know, the things are happening here. People are reacting crazy because of the rhetoric from Zionists, like Laura Loomer, all these people, Charlie, whoever they are, Ben Shapiro, mask off. All of a sudden, he's all First Amendment. Oh, Hamas, terrorism, Mark Levin, all these people suddenly Israeli first, right? Suddenly they're snowflakes. They're the ones calling everyone on the left snowflakes. You say Israel in the wrong way. Oh, my God, I can't believe Holocaust. Nah. It's like, dude, look at you. Look at Jordan Peterson. He blocked me because I called him out so bad. This guy, he said, you could have been a savior of the West. What'd you do instead? You signed a deal with the devil. When you went to dinner with Bibi, I knew it was over, you know? So, Sharif, we are doing the good thing, man. We are doing the right thing because the people of the Palestinian people have been oppressed for 75 years, and they don't have the media. Maybe Al Jazeera, maybe Press TV, but the Americans don't see that, right? And I've been on RT a few times. I just did another show with them again. But RT has been banned on certain platforms. So, you know, when someone like me goes on X and I post a video from RT or Press TV, I did a show with Mara Osman from Lebanon. You know, these are the things they don't see, but I get to put it on my Instagram, and now they see, wow, you know, this is another story. We didn't know that. We didn't know this happened. They don't even know that the Hamas was trying to make to do the exchange for the prisoners. No, they didn't know that.
They don't want that. Israel
doesn't want that to
happen.
Then they have to stop everything.
Even America is trying to push Israel now to stop. Like, hey, we have so many Americans right there, and we can help get them out. But even a humanitarian pause, not even a ceasefire, humanitarian pause, which is like give him a day or two just for people drink some water, wash their faces, and try to get some POWs out or kidnapped out, or I'm not gonna be present on whichever political standing you would call the POWs or the people that were kidnapped during the war. But as we said, if it was only for October 7th, of course Hamas would be a fault. But it's a reaction of so many years of repression that led them to the point of, well, we're gonna take it all out on them in a straight up war. So if I wouldn't call them terrorists, I would call them insurgents, because that's what we called Iraqis who attacked our troops in Iraq. We started by calling them terrorists, and the narrative didn't play well because we were all the occupying group.
Right.
So they had to
the
tune
Israelis
that into, remember those days? And then they tuned it into insurgents.
Insurgents, yeah. Well, I mean, look, what people argue to me, the people who are pro-Hamas and they're unapologetic, they say, look, Israel's an occupying force. All of those people are not civilians. They're enemy combatants. And a lot of these settlers, they have guns. They used to be in the IDF. And it would be no different if the Chinese right now came to New Jersey, put a base there, and started killing people, invading, and then every New Jerseyan would have a right to go fight them, no matter how they did it. And under international law, the Hamas has the right to self-defense, right? Now, again, I don't want any civilians. If only combatants died, a big deal.
Yeah, I don't like civilians involved.
I don't like
in anything.
Even if these people for former IDF, what are these people?
Former IDF,
right? But there's so much rage, and the Israelis have always been killing. They don't care either. So they're just returning the favor. Again, what I said several times.
It's strong on both sides,
right?
When it comes to
this
civilians.
Is what I say, Sharif. I say take the IDF and take Hamas. Get a nice field. Big field like the old days. Get swords and axes and let them go. Winner takes all, right? No civilians, no bombs. Go at it in the big field like the old days. And whoever wins, wins. I mean, because then everyone who dies is a combatant. Because nobody wants
no justification of involving civilians, but I'm not going to take it all the way far to condemning Hamas, because that's a reaction of so many... Yeah. And so many civilians, which I still don't agree on. So many civilians from Palestinians, even the West Bank, that has nothing to deal with Hamas, is being severely under attack. Young boys who are domesticated are humiliated for their domestication. So instead of standing up and fighting back, they chose to live as civilians away from the conflict, and they stayed at the West Bank. What is happening to them now is humiliating. And that humiliation is going to create more insurgents. It's going to create more anger and frustration that will not end in a nice way. So what they're doing is they're triggering more anger and discomfort to those people who chose to live in a peaceful lifestyle than a very repressive one inside the biggest open air jail in the world. It's stupid. There is nothing good about war. There is no good word that we can say. War is war. It's a fucked up shit that we have a political name for, and it's called war. It's a barbaric.
I said the same thing with the Ukrainian and Russian conflict. I said, look, Putin is offering peace right now. Take it, because the only difference is going to be how many people die before you sign it next time. I mean, that's really it's the amount of people who die from you resisting to this point to that point. That's the only difference, because it's going to end in peace talks. And I asked these Israelis, how many more children? They're at 8,000 something now. When's enough? Okay, it's like you lost 2,000. I get it. It's terrible. Now they're at 8,000, and they're going to be more because you're not going to stop. When is enough enough? Until they're all dead? Because that's what it seems like it is to me. You want them all dead, and that's just the retaliation.
And that's called genocide.
Yeah,
and that's called genocide. Yeah. And since they have the politicians on their side, and the history that is partially written by Epstein on their side, nobody's gonna bring those guys into justice. I mean, there is no justice. Well, justice. Let's put justice in the freezer now.
Yeah, Dick Cheney, George Bush, all these people, they're still running around. No punishment, nothing. That's the sad part. But that's also the people's responsibility to make sure that they rise to power and eliminate these tyrants that never get any problem. You eliminate them through the process of voting and get them in front of a court martial or something like this. That has to be justice. You can't just be a vigilante. I mean, that may work, it may not work, but I've learned, even me as a Marine, that violence doesn't really solve anything. because you
Nope.
eventually got to talk yourself in the end when it's all over. It's just dead people. It's just more dead people. So, again, this has been a tragedy, and I'm glad that we have been able to talk, Sharif. And
Same
we
here,
got to
Lucas.
continue to push the truth out there, because again, as this platform is right now mostly free speech compared to everything else.
I'm probably gonna post this video immediately.
Oh yeah,
and in full on Twitter once we're done. So
absolutely, and I'll repost
before we
it.
translate that, yeah,
of course, yeah. So,
but one last question before we go.
Sure.
Now we were like sometimes we were Republican for some reason. Sometimes I always say I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat with I'm a Republican with a heart, or a Democrat with a brain.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I don't see any good in both. In your own opinion, what do we do about the coming presidential elections when we see that the choice is between go go Brandon and Trump?
I mean, for me,
where do we take it with that?
I voted twice in my life. So the first time I voted was George Bush, who sent me to Iraq. The second time I voted decades later was Donald Trump, because of what he said. No more wars for globalism. We're going to build a wall, America first. And of course, the opposite happened. And then I realized I'll never vote again. So I will not be voting in this election. I know people say, well, if you don't vote, you're stuck. I'm not playing that game. I'm not involved in the system. Let it fall apart, whatever the case. Now, between Let's Go Brandon and Trump, I would think he's better. Because even though Trump is, the goofball, and, he's his Jared Kushner and all that, under his administration, there wasn't any new wars technically, but he did do a lot of things that benefited Zionism, Jerusalem movement. That was a dangerous move. The Abrahamic Accords, which doesn't really bring peace at all. So like he's done a lot of Zion, but at least the economy was apparently better. But again, the presidents are puppets. That's really it. Whether it's Trump,
just the face, the front man.
And again, even if even if he was a good person and he had all these aspirations, when you sit down in the front of the people who run the show, you're not going to destroy their businesses. You're not going to destroy the military-industrial complex. You're not going to destroy the banking. There's just not going to happen. They might let you play with domestic policies. They might let you pass an executive order here and there, but then the next president's going to reverse it. So what's the problem? Our system, in my opinion, is completely stupid. If you look at Gaddafi's system, the fourth political theory was pretty interesting. Power to the people, truly. He was very loved. America has a unique problem. We need to go back to what our founding fathers established. Small federal government, let the states' rights be let the states be the states. But ever since the income tax, the federal government gets all the money it needs and does whatever the hell it wants. And that's the biggest problem. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to vote this time around. People may say that's un-American, but I don't want to be responsible, because when I voted for Trump and he bombed Soleimani, that means I killed Soleimani. When he bombed Syria, that means I bombed Syria. Okay, so I'm not going to play the game, frankly. And so unless a politician is exactly like me, I'm never voting again. So again, I don't know if voting is even going to solve much, but we need
a revolution
in minds and people. We need a grassroots movement, a revolution of the government, completely revamping it back to what it should be, when our founding fathers established it, because what they would see today, they'd be horrified by. So that's my answer to you there. I'm not voting, and you could think whatever you want, people. I'm not playing this game. So anyway, that's that.
Well, thank you, Lucas, a lot. It was a wonderful. It was meant to be 1 hour, but it's
I know.
It got very interesting, diverse, and I hope that we are able to deliver the right ideas and right news and get the people to understand what's good and what's bad in a very crazy world.
Yeah,
thank
and
you,
if
Lucas,
anyone
very
wants
much.
to see where I'm at, lucasgage.com is my website. You can send me an email. I'll try to get to you. I'm so many, but mostly if you want to see me do my work, Lucas_Gage_ at x.com, twitter.com. You'll find me there, and that's where you'll see me do my magic. And hopefully you guys follow me there, and I'll talk to you guys there. But thanks for having me on, Sharif. It was an honor.
Thank you. It was an honor to meet you as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.